Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's transfer deadline day. It's the busiest day of the football year, the football calendar. It is crazy for news all day long, and we're starting the day off with Chelsea news because we just have to, right? It's the club my eyes are going to be on all day. I'm hoping for some extra incomings. You never know. I'm not sure we really need them, but there's just that excitement on deadline day when a new player arrives and you don't know who it is and there's all the hype around it. I just love being involved. So hopefully someone else joins. But we start the day with an official announcement from Chelsea Football Club regarding Cole Palmer and the fact that he is signed for Chelsea Football Club. It's done. He's going to wear the number 20 shirt, I believe. And they even revealed him in the new away kit, which I might add is fantastic. Chelsea Football Club, this is a good one. The new away kit, without the sponsor as well, is absolutely fire. This is clean. This is what I want from Chelsea kits. I love the aesthetics, the 90s style. That's an absolute must buy as well. Well done, Chelsea, for releasing this without the sponsor. Do it for all the kits this season. Believe me, you will see sales numbers like you'll never believe, because I haven't spoke to one fan yet who likes it or wants it with a sponsor. Everyone's absolutely loving it. It's what they want. It's Chelsea and obviously the sponsor of whoever makes the kit. But it's an aesthetic which I like. No sponsor is the way forward. And if it means that we have to sell a player every season for 40 million, I might be able to live with that. I might be able to live with that. One extra player for sale every season instead of having a sponsorship deal, I might be able to live with that. But that isn't how it's looked at, I know. But unless someone wants to sponsor us without actually putting something on the shirt, that could be a good deal as well. Anyway, let's get on from that because we're not here to talk about sponsors. I welcome Cole Palmer to the club. I'm excited for what you might bring. A very, very raw, exciting talent to join a squad of already very raw, exciting, prosperous talent. So let's see what happens with him. All the best for the future, Cole Palmer. But we're going to talk about outgoings predominantly at Chelsea Football Club today, because in terms of transfer business, it looks as if that's where our transfer deadline day is going to go. We're talking first about a player that once had the world at his feet at Chelsea Football Club. He was the sole reason that we let Eden Hazard go with such open arms, because we thought we had it all figured out. He was the replacement. And there was, for a small amount of time, a real belief from every Chelsea fan that that was in fact true. And we had reason to believe. Callum Hudson-Odoi was phenomenal. He was 17 years old. He had Premier League defenders on toast. And every single big club had their eyes on what Callum Hudson-Odoi was doing to the Premier League at such a young age. Unfortunately, right now, we're looking at Callum Hudson-Odoi joining Nottingham Forest for £8 million. Oh, how different it is, and how on earth did he ever get there? And I just wanted to kind of speak about Callum today, because it's kind of one that will sort of go under the radar, and it'll be like, oh, did you see Callum left? Yeah, shame, isn't it? I can imagine that chat at the bridge on Saturday, but we've got to just sort of talk about how it got there and just a few thoughts on the matter. Callum, like I said, was an exceptional talent. The gem of Cobham. Better than Reece, better than Mount, better than all these players that managed to break through the academy. Callum was the guy. Every single person that worked within the academy had the highest hopes for Callum. He was the future of Chelsea Football Club. He was the guy that the team was going to be built around. And unfortunately, he got the worst type of injury possible for a player of his type. There are players who play in different areas that could have that injury. Yes, the struggle would be big to get back to the level they were, but it wouldn't affect their game as much. Everything Callum had, the rawness, the agility, the pace, the electricity that he just brought to the pitch, disappeared with that injury. And he's just never been the same since. And ultimately, yes, that disappears, and then that rips the confidence out of the player as well and just absolutely dissolves it, and the player shrivels up into himself. And that's exactly what has happened to Callum Hudson-Odoi. And we've seen it with young, exciting players in the past. When they get an injury like that, it's very, very difficult to come back from. And I really feel for Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think over his years, there were times when Bayern Munich were on the phone trying to put in a £70 million offer. At that time, that figure was huge. We weren't at the level yet of where the transfer fees have gone. £70 million was massive for his age. He's still only like 23, 24 now. So I genuinely hope that Callum can move on. We've got a sell-on clause. It means we'll get something back if he ever resurrects his career. He can move on, perform to a level that his ability suggests that he once could have. I don't think he'll ever be the same player. Hopefully he can adapt and sort of overcome where he's at in his career and build onto something and not just sort of dissolve away and we all just sort of forget what sort of a player he could have ever been. But I wish him well. I hope he gets some good advice because I don't think he's always had good advice in his career. He's made some weird choices, I must say. So hopefully that sort of changes for him. He's old enough now. He can make his own decisions. And I hope he can get his career back on track. And maybe, who knows, excite the Premier League one more time again. Anyway, moving on from Callum. I'm wishing him all the best. We've got to talk about Trevor Chalobah. And this one is something that I'm finding extremely difficult to come to terms with how on earth we can say no. Trevor has arguably been replaced this summer with the amount of incomings we've had in terms of centre-backs. Yes, he might be slightly different to what we've brought in, and he's obviously been at the club and he's won stuff at the club, and he's the type of player that you probably want to come through from Cobham, but when the type of money that's being offered is around 50 million and he represents pure clear profit, how on earth can we say no to that type of money? I don't think there'll be many people, unless they are Cobham diehards, that would stop Chelsea from selling Trevor Chalobah to Bayern Munich for that amount of money. Look, it worked for him and Tuchel before. He's been great for Chelsea. We didn't lose a game for so long with Trevor in our defence. And he's been nothing but honest in the terms of how he plays. He leaves everything on the pitch. He scores goals. He wants to fight for the shirt. His brother was at Chelsea. He's been at Chelsea. It's obviously an honour for him every single time he pulled on the shirt. And I like that. But when the money's this big for a player of Trev's level, I don't think we can say no. And I think he'll do really well over there because Pavard's just left Bayern Munich and he fits that hybrid centre-back, right-back slot really, really well for Bayern. So, honestly, as a Chelsea fan, I wish you all the best as well, Trevor. But if that deal hits the table, then we need to accept it. But quickly, before we touch on the last player, I really want to talk about clear profit and why that is so important to Chelsea Football Club and Todd Boehly and how we're going about our transfer business. Because with this clear profit situation, Todd Boehly's found the loophole. It basically suggests that the whole reason behind FFP was to stop clubs spending loads of money and kind of build from within and spend within their means. All of a sudden, it now makes more sense to sell a player for clear profit, to put it on the books right now, and then buy someone for 80, 100 million and amortise that over like 8 years. That's what Todd Boehly's been doing. And then that kind of works out at about 10 million a year, every year for the next however long their contract is. And all of a sudden, our books are way more balanced because every year we got 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million stacked of players paying outgoings. And then we just wipe them off with one £50 million sale of pure profit. So then it'll just be, instead of having 10 players of 10 million a year, we might have 30 million. So 10 million for one player, 10 million for one player, 10 million for one player, because we eradicated all the other 10 millions from selling one Trevor Chalobah. I don't know if you understand that, and I'm not a maths genius, but that's kind of how it works. Every year we're going to stack up small installments in terms of what players are worth and put them on top of each other, sell one player and half what we need to pay, so it makes the books look so much better. And that's why Boehly sees these academy products as clear profit, and it means he can spend hundreds of millions of pounds on players, bringing them in and amortise them over the next few years. I know it all gets a bit crazy, but that's why he's doing it. That's why he doesn't care about the academy players ever playing for Chelsea unless it ups their market value. Talking about clear profit and youth players, Conor Gallagher is the name on all the journalists' lips. Absolutely ridiculous that we're still at the end of the transfer deadline, and we're still talking about him going. What's going on? At the start of the transfer window, I would have said, yes, sell him. It's big money for the level that he is. But under Pochettino, we've seen a different Conor. We've seen Conor captain Chelsea. Yes, I know his performance against Wimbledon wasn't groundbreaking, but Conor embodies everything I want to see in a player from Chelsea Football Club, from the academy. When I say he understands and gets Cobham, this kid grew up 10 minutes from Cobham. Chelsea's all he has ever known when it comes to football. Yes, he's been on loan moves and done very, very well, might I add, because how rare is it for a player from Chelsea to go on loan and then come back and break into the first team? That very rarely happens. Pochettino's taken a liking to him because he's played a huge amount of minutes. He's right up the top of the squad for how many minutes he's played since Pochettino took over. Con looks already better on the ball. He looks more positive. He should have scored the other night. He's wearing the captain's armband. He'll give you 110% every game. Players like Conor Gallagher don't come along that often. And if we sell him to Tottenham, to Spurs, I'll be livid. That is a step too far from Todd Boehly, because we shouldn't be selling our best products from the academy. Look, I know when we're talking about best products, he's not the best in terms of ability and talent and everything, but he's the best in terms of hard work. He's the best in terms of embodying Chelsea Football Club. I believe that Conor Gallagher is what's needed. Sometimes you need a player like Conor Gallagher in a team of superstars. Look at Henderson. Henderson's a fantastic leader. I see a leader in Conor Gallagher. A fighter, a warrior, a guy that you want to go into battle with. That's what a captain is. I see that in Conor Gallagher. And I don't want to see him going anywhere, especially not to Tottenham. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you think we should be selling any of these players? What do you make of Callum Hudson-Odoi going? Do you think 50 million's enough for Trevor Chalobah? And realistically, should we stop talking about selling Conor Gallagher? I don't think it will ever go away for as long as he's at Chelsea Football Club. Really, to be honest with you. But I don't want to see him go anywhere, and especially not to Tottenham for the pittance price of 45 million that's being rumoured. If you're new to the channel, please like the video, subscribe, and I want to try and build up this community. Join the Discord, look at my socials in the link below, and I'll catch you later on today, because we're probably going to be live for the deadline of the transfer window. So I'll catch you in a bit.